When I was a little kid, like real little, I found myself jumping over the posies in my front yard when my sister, who was 18 years older than me, drove up the driveway and she got out of the car and she pulled out a box of puppies, a box of Shelties. And she said, "Dan, it's your birthday. Pick whichever one you want." And this is like a boondoggle on my parents because she knows that I want a puppy, but they don't think I'm ready to have a puppy because I'm so tiny. And I am ready. And I take the fastest one and I name him Time Travel and I train him. And I take him on his walks and I fall in love with him. And we are best friends. We're such good friends that when I'm at school, he learns my recess schedule and he'll sneak out of the house, go through the forest and meet me at the playground. And I'd rather hang out with him than with my friends. We move from verdant Michigan to corn as far as the eye can see, Ohio. And I go through high school and he's with me the entire time and he's going to go to college with me. But he passes away. And you're at that cusp where you're not at adulthood, but you're kind of coming into it. And I find myself thinking about it with that little kid math. I'm like, I'm Catholic, so my soul's going to be here forever. I had 11 years with this dog of just like happiness, pure joy. But the pain is going to last in my heart forever. That's a bad deal. And I just stare at the sun and I throw on my headphones and I just curse every curse word in the book. And I curse that sun. And I curse the light that just shines on any shadow. I'm just so mad. And I run into the garage and I take his leash and I crush it at the ends and I fasten it into a wallet chain so that I keep him with me forever. Jump to me being an adult. I now live in Chicago and I'm dating this woman who's probably going to end up being my wife. And every time she sees a dog, she is down on her knees and it's jumping all over her. And she looks up at me with those big brown doe eyes. Can we have one? Can we have one? No, absolutely not. Dogs are for farms, not high rises. No. And the thing is, she's a softie. She can't handle it. And she likes the idea of wanting a dog. And I know this about her. So I am that wall that makes it safe for her to fall in love and out of love in every interaction with these dogs that she meets. And it's like this for years until one day my mother calls me and she says, "Danny, you can't be the reason that woman doesn't have a dog. I know that I agreed with you before, but I've been praying about it." Now, my mom pulls this stuff on me all the time. "Dan, I had a dream and God told me to tell you." But she didn't say that this time. And it wasn't some BS thing that she just wanted to tell me herself. Instead, she said, "Dan, I've been praying." And because she said it differently, it hit me differently. And I thought, yeah, she's right. And so we started researching dog names. We started picking up books on different kinds of breeds. We started going to shelters and looking at dogs because I wasn't going to be the sort of person who gets the first dog you see. I'm reading all these training books. She wants a black lab. I want a Sheltie. We narrow it down. And one day she's at work and she sends me a photo of this dog that's a tiny little puppy German Shepherd, all black except for this white little crest on his chest. And I say, that's great. That's in our list. Let's do it. And she says, it will be gone before we get there. And I say, well, if it's gone, we're going to go see other dogs because we're on a mission to get dogs, and you don't do it by staying home. So after work, we're going to see dogs. And I take her there, and of course, she's right. And it's a shelter, but it's one of those swank Lincoln Park, Chicago shelters. So there's this nooks and crannies, and all the dogs have their brooms. And yep, adopted. So I tell her, well, there's another dog. He's 11 years old, and we're going to see him. It's a collie. And we see this dog, and she says, I don't want to see this dog. I wanted the other dog. And I am trying to understand what's going on. And we're there. This dog is great. He's trained. He's lovable. He's 11. He needs a home. And she looks at me and she says, I need a puppy. I need to raise something from childhood to adulthood. We'd had the conversation about whether we were going to have kids or not and decided we weren't. And I'm an idiot because it took her saying that for me to get it. And I said, I got it. And they're closing down the place because we've been there so long, and they're ushering us out. And she's crying, you're the world's worst boyfriend. And I'm saying, I'm sorry, but I get it now. And we walk past the door with the German Shepherd, and they pull the sign off. And I say, what's going on? And they say, well, at the last minute, the dad who was going to adopt him decided they couldn't handle having a German Shepherd. We're closing up shop, so you can see him for a couple minutes, but you'll have to come back tomorrow to adopt him. We hang out with him, and he's stoic and perfect. And we go home. And right before we leave, this old woman stops me and she says, there's going to be a line for this dog. Be here 15 minutes early. So when we come back, we're 20 minutes early, but we're second in line. And there's this dude with this thin, wispy mustache, and he's standing in front of us. He's got a wife beater and 2 sweatpants, and he's got his cell phone open with the picture of the German Shepherd, and he's showing all the people who are passing by, this is going to be my dog. This is going to be my dog. This is my dog. Mackenzie, my girlfriend, she texts me, what are we going to do? And I tell her, whatever's going to be is going to be. He walks in, and they tell him he's got to fill out the paperwork, which we did the day before. And he pulls out some paperwork that he had done online, and he throws it down, and they're looking it over, and they're saying, oh, it says here that there are people who live in your apartment with you. They need to come see the dog too. And then he says, is my money no good here? And he pulls out a wad of $400 and he slams that on the desk. What's going on? This is my dog. I'm buying this dog. And all of a sudden people are coming out from the back, and they call security, and they're trying to calm him down. And the woman from the other day grabs me by the shoulder and she says, you were here yesterday. We're going to get you this dog. She sneaks me into the back. We meet this dog who we're going to name Zero, because black is all colors combined and white is the absence of color, so he can hold the infinite and the void. And after 4 hours of interrogation to see if we're cool enough to have a German Shepherd, they say yes. And we pay them, and they hand me the leash for the very first time. And we walk outside, and the sun is out, and he sits down on the pavement, and he's wagging his long tail. And he's just 3 months old, but his tail is just as long as it'll ever be. And he looks up at me with those big brown eyes. And it's as if he's saying, there is a weight in your heart. Let me have it. I can take it. And it transports me back to being that little kid screaming at the sun and thinking that I'm cursing at the universe when I'm really cursing myself. And all that pain that I've locked up just flows out. And Zero's love pours in. And we take him home to his forever home.